Greetings, Soul Tribe. This video is going to be titled, The Righteous Rage Layout. The Righteous Rage Layout. What do I mean by a righteous rage layout? So I have an idea by way of putting things onto a video while recording myself talking about them, in other words, posting on the internet, and essentially obligating you all to forcefully move through a dispositional shift in which is going to drive you towards a reality in which you respect the soul and trust the spirit. And what do I mean by these words? Trust the spirit and respect the soul. My righteous rage is going to drag you through this idea and make you do it. Details: trust, meaning a firmly held belief in the reliability, ability, truth, and strength of the spirit. And respect, a feeling of deep admiration for something or something illicit by its abilities, qualities, or achievements. So that means a deep admiration for the soul or something illicit by the soul's abilities, qualities, and achievements. What are the abilities of the soul? To give life and the ability to live them accurately, and or the embodiment of peace, respect, balance, and progression. What are the qualities of the soul or the standards of the soul as measured against other things of a similar kind? And standards meaning a level of quality or attainment, and the soul achieved its foundational grounds before reality itself was even established. So, what are the standards of the soul? Qualities: peace, love, unity, and advancement concomitantly in the achievements of this here soul that I speak to you about. What are they? The manifestation of all things good, beautiful, normal, and naturally. 4 things in one, concomitantly. What's good, beautiful, normal, and natural concomitantly. And now, these next few words, or these next handful of words that I'm going to tell you about, is a combination of words in which I'm going to lay out here that will encourage you all to trust in the spirit, as I just told you about, and the spirit being your balanced intellect, into respecting the soul and manifesting this behavioral practice into reality. In other words, these here things I'm getting ready to tell you are going to encourage you all to do just right and just right alone, and just right at all times. Maybe. What is this here that I have? These are notes that I have here. Notes that I, even myself, with my abilities to store knowledge, had to write down in order to memorize to tell you a certain way. You follow what I'm saying? But I want to tell you these things first before I read off to you what's on this here paper. So I have what you can label and describe as 4 saga games in which I'd like to play on all of humanity. And I'm just going to tell you the names of them, because let's never forget, these here saga games are games, but not games simultaneously. And if you want to look at it from a more literal concept or a more literal foundational standpoint, it is the literal definition and or meaning of the word game, meaning to manipulate a situation, typically in a way that is unfair or unscrupulous. Situation, situation, meaning where you are all currently sitting, I desire to manipulate it with my manipura, or my physical conscious mind's abilities to manipulate. Next. So, I've put together these games, which are not games, simultaneously, because in reality, I am legitimately, literally manipulating a situation by telling you things in which you're going to do so without my presence even being there to do so. You follow what I'm saying? Originally I had 4 saga games lined up. The first 2 were actual games, and the last 2 were not games at all, but you can call them games because I am simply manipulating a situation in which we are all in. And what am I manipulating the situation to do? Move in the right direction only for all the days of its lives. So, I'm just going to tell you the names of these sagas here. There were 4 of them at first, but now there are going to be 6 in total. And what are they? The first one is going to be called Super Yahusha 4-7. That is what you could label and describe as a Christ game saga. Next, I'm going to tell you about the details and all of that later, but right now I just want to read this off to you because I done already told you about all the details in a whole bunch of other videos before. They're all on this here channel. Super Yahusha 4-7 is the first one. That's a Christ game saga. Game. Next, Cosmic Yahusha 6-9. That's a soul game saga. A soul game saga. And what's the whole point of this soul game saga? What's the point of the Christ game and the soul game? The Christ game is to bring you awareness and or trick talk you into realizing who you actually are. It's a trick talk in that's going to trick talk you into realizing what you actually are. Remember, game, manipulating a situation, typically in a way that is unfair or unscrupulous. I am manipulating the situation of your current ignorance level, meaning I am saying things out loud that are going to trick talk you into recognizing who you actually are. You follow what I'm saying? It's the point of the game here. Playing a game on you that's going to trick talk you into realizing who you are. That's the point of the Super Yahusha 4-7 game right there. And then the point of the soul game, 6-9, is to overwhelmingly tell you to your faces, like a battleship game or something, using my words to overwhelmingly tell you to your faces without you having any type of way to escape the idea that what you logically feel like, are the standards of the soul, are the qualities of the soul, meaning every single one of you so-called human beings, what you all logically feel like, since you say things like, I feel like this, I feel like that, you only feel like one thing, the qualities of the soul. That's what you feel like. And the point of the soul game is to manipulate the situation in which you are sitting in, you nation, that's labeling and describing the absence of this here knowledge. So in other words, I am manipulating the situation you are in with the first two games to forcefully, in a sense, let you all know of who you actually are. Moving forward, if that makes sense to you. So I'm manipulating a situation of ignorance to a situation of awareness. Long story short, awareness of who you actually are and telling you what you logically feel like. This is what you logically feel like. Peace, love, unity, and advancement. All together in one. That's what you logically feel like. Peace, love, unity, and advancement. All together in one. Moving forward. So, the next 4 games now, because I added 2. I only had 4 at first, and I only got 2. I may even have more in the future. Who knows? I only have 2 right now, but I may have more in the future. I only have 6 right now, but I may have more in the future. Who knows? Something just tried to call me and threw off my train of thought. Back to it. So, the next 2 games, or the next 2 sagas, you can call them games if you want to, because I'm still manipulating a situation of ignorance into a situation of awareness. I'm still doing it. The third game, or the third saga, let's just say saga for right now. It's going to be titled Free Yahusha 8-4. We ain't bound to just one planet alone. And once the Father's heart is clean, established in other words, his body shall stretch to the stars. So, take these words with you. Free Yahusha 8-4. That's the next saga, home liberation saga. That's what you can call that one. A home liberation saga. And what is a saga? A saga is a long, involved story, account, or series of incidents, narrative. A long, involved story, account, or series of incidents, a narrative. I'm telling you a bunch of sagas right now. There's about 4 of them, but then I just added 2 more recently, and there may be more in the future. Free Yahusha 8-4. We ain't bound to just one planet. We got the whole galaxy as our own. That there is a home liberation saga. You'll get what that means momentarily. Because Free Yahusha 8-4 is going to drive us to the 4th, and which originally I thought was going to be the final saga, but then once I got these notes here for, it helps me recognize that there are going to be a lot more, or at least a couple more thus far, sagas to talk about. Then the next saga is this one. Establish Yahusha, Infinity. Establish Yahusha, Infinity. That there is just simply a home saga. That's what that is, just a home saga. Establish Yahusha, Infinity. Where we spend a lot of time talking about how all of the planets were one, how we spend a lot of time living in a clean world. Establish Yahusha as a clean planet. Because remember, everything about Yeshua's life is organized, order, and neat. And what is the word order defined as? Arrange something in a methodical or appropriate way. Arrange something in a methodical or appropriate way. Did you ever notice we, as a species that we are, originally started out as giant black folk? And this planet right here that we are currently on is built for giant black folk. But we are tiny black folk right now. Why are we tiny black folk? There is a long, involved story account or series of incidents to label and describe that could tell you this. And here, what I have next is going to label and describe it to some degree. Now, the last two sagas that I'm just now adding to the list are going to be labeled and described as the following. African Yahusha. Then you also have, there's not going to be a number. It's just going to be the African Yahusha world. No number. It's just going to be the world there. African Yahusha world. That's the fifth That's the fifth saga that I'm adding to the playlist. And the thing is, it ain't going to be no home liberation saga or no none of that. It's just going to be a saga. Because these are the activities in which we will participate in after we are done with the first four. Meaning the aftermath of the spiritual war. This information right here gave me some ideas of what we can do during the aftermath of the spiritual war. But the thing is, the reason why I'm putting it online as something to hear is because I want to give us an idea of something that we are fighting for. You follow what I'm saying? So this information that I'm getting ready to tell you is for the aftermath of the spiritual war and what we will be doing in the next few games. So the first game is called African or Alkebulan and or Afro Yahusha home or Afro Yahusha world. I'm going to say all four of them. It's going to be African Yahusha world, meaning African Yahusha world. And it's going to be African Yahusha world, meaning Afrakan Yahusha world. Then there's also going to be Alkebulan. Look up the word Alkebulan and see what that tells you. Alkebulan Yahusha world. And then there's also going to be the Afro Yahusha world. All four of those titles are of one game, though, or of one saga. And it's just going to be the Afro Yahusha world saga. That's it. And the information that I have here is going to label and describe how both of these games are going to play out for us. And I'm going to tell you what they are in a second. But then the final game, though, the final saga, because remember, it's a game and not a game at the same time. It's a game and not a game at the same time. The final one, the sixth one, the most recent one, is going to be either African Yahusha Universe. African, once again, Yahusha Universe. Alkebulan, because remember, Africa is spelled twice or spelled different ways and whatnot. Africa is spelled different ways. So it's about two African Yahusha universes that are going to label and describe this next saga that I'm telling you about, or the final six saga that I'm getting ready to tell you about. And then there is going to be an Alkebulan, or you can call it an Alkebulan Yahusha universe, or you can call it the Afro Yahusha universe. You follow what I'm saying? And that theirs are going to be your sixth saga. So, the significance of these here sagas that I am telling you about. What's the significance of them? In the game of the Afro Yahusha world, there is going to be information in which we need to accept immediately to label and describe how to actually stand on our proper natural divine character. How to stand on and or walk in our natural divine character. And in my most recent studies, I've come across what can be labeled and described as the 7 African powers. The 7 African powers, you see. Notice this for a moment. If my phone cuts off, that's because lately they have been tampering with everything. So, 7 African powers, right? Know something. There is only one natural, divine, characteristical trait in us all, in all of us, in which the devil itself calls the devil. And all of its angels and all of its servants in spirit and in flesh, are all specifically designed and or specifically motivated to do one thing and one thing only: ensure that part of you fails at everything and suffers to death, to and throughout you all. This essence in us has been called Satan. This essence in us has been called Iblis. This essence in us has been called all of the evil ones, all of the darknesses of the world. This essence in us has been called these things. And the thing is about this essence, it is in actuality our natural divine characteristic, in which stems from the life force itself to and throughout us all. You call it a soul. You can call it ego. You call it our emotion. Morals are the measurementality of emotions. Morals are the measurement of emotions. You can call it God, the creator. Many different names, one method of operation. Give you your lives and your abilities to live them. This information ties more into what this information, or what this source of all moral authority truly has in store for us. This is ethnical information on who the true God is, in other words. Because the point of this game, the point of the Afro-Yeshua game, is to tell you about the true God and how the true God works to and throughout you all. Do some research on Obatala. That's what's about to happen. That's what I'm about to tell you about in this list here. So, I've done some research on the 7 African powers. What is the 7 African powers? Where do they stem from? They stem from a Yoruba religion. Yoruba is West Nigerian or Southern Nigerian, Benin, and it was Nigerian, Benin, and a few more, and one more other country in over in West Africa. You follow what I'm saying? The Yoruba religion has been around for 5,000 years in total now. 5,000 years, about the same age, if not older, than even Hinduism. This is a religion, and religion is just, you know, a belief in and worship of. The belief, foundational belief in and actional worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or multiple gods. You follow what I'm saying? And the thing is, in this Yoruba religious belief, there are multiple gods in which the people worship and have a foundational belief in. You follow what I'm saying? But remember, always remember, never forget, internally, there's all only one spiritual power. All it is one spiritual power. Ain't no genders in the spirit. There's only genders in the physical reality. Ain't no genders in the spirit. There's only genders in the physical reality. Everything in spirit is energy moving to and throughout us all to give us our abilities to do things that are being corrupted overwhelmingly by the people in charge of this world. These ideas are going to help you realize how to stop them from being in control. It says the 7 African powers. It doesn't say the 7 white powers. Moving forward. So I ultimately found out that the 7 African powers are also constituents of the 7 chakras. And I'm going to list them off here for you before this video cuts out on me again. So I have a note here called the hierarchy of the 7 African powers and the 7 major chakras. And right now, currently, when you look online, here's the list that you will find. Shango the Thunderer being a constituent of the root chakra. Yemaya being a constituent of the sacral chakra. Ogun being a constituent of the solar plexus chakra. Oshun being a constituent of the heart chakra. I'm going to tell you about who these people are later on. Obatala being a constituent of the throat chakra. Orula being a constituent of the third eye chakra. And what's known as Ori being a constituent of the crown chakra. Now, here's my hierarchical setup of the 7 to 9 African powers and the 7 to 9 chakra gates. 7 to 9. You'll see why I said that in a moment. Now, here's how I have it set up. The soul star chakra. Olodumare being a constituent of his spiritual essence. The crown chakra, Obatala Ori, is switching up a little bit of the order as well. And then the third chakra being Shango the Thunderer. I'm a reincarnation of Shango the Thunderer, by the way. Do I really believe this 100%? No, of course not. No, I don't believe in any of this 100%. None of it. I don't need to. I just know I need to say a few of these things to get me home. Home liberation. Third eye chakra is Shango the Thunderer. Next, the throat chakra. I place Ogun here. Ogun. You'll know who all of these people are in a moment. They are Orishas. And then for the fifth one, heart chakra, Orula, solar plexus chakra, Oshun, sacral chakra, Yamea, root chakra, Alegua. And then for the earth star chakra, Oya. Now, I need to make sure I got those words out there before this video cut off on me again. Who is Shango the Thunderer? Shango the Thunderer is one of the Orishas worshipped in Yoruba religion, the Nigerian religion as well. That's who Shango the Thunderer is. He has a wife. He has 3 wives, or he had 3 wives, and they were Oya, Oshun, and Oba. Not Obatala, just Oba. You follow what I'm saying? And he was, according to the stories, I'm sure there's a lot more deeper meaning that goes into him. He was the god of thunder and fire, or lightning and fire. That's what Shango was. They said in the stories, when Shango speaks, fire proceeds out of his mouth. So many parables to connect to and contrast to this story here. And then you have Yamea. Like I said, in the original list, Shango is the root chakra's constituent. And in the original list, Yamea is the sacral chakra's constituent. Yamea is a sea goddess who's a mermaid in a sense as well. Or she looks like a mermaid when you look at the pictures of her. Ogun, in the first list right here, connected to the solar plexus chakra. Ogun is connected to the solar plexus chakra in the first list. Now, see, in the information, it says that Ogun is like the manifestation of the solar plexus chakra. Then I think about all the constituents in the information which connects and contrasts to the solar plexus chakra that labels and describes as mental and emotional qualities. Because remember, all of this information is just mental and emotional qualities altogether. Ogun. Brother Umar Johnson gave some insight on the Orisha known as Ogun. And what is an Orisha? An Orisha is any of the gods and or spirits in the Yoruba religion. I'm going to have the definition of the word on the thumbnail of this video. But it's any of the gods and or spirits in the Yoruba religion. Any of them. That's what an Orisha is. You follow me? So a god or spirit, like an angel, right? So, Ogun, Brother Umar Johnson, when he labeled and described it, Brother Umar Johnson said Ogun is kind of similar to X-Men's Wolverine and Thor, not Thor, I believe, but virtually anybody with like metallic features and who hold or who harbor superpowers that are iron-like. Because Ogun, in so many stories, was essentially a godlike blacksmith. He was like a godlike blacksmith, according to some of the stories. Ogun is, you follow me? And on the list here, it says Ogun is the embodiment of the solar plexus chakra. Now see, the solar plexus chakra holds the fire element, as well as the sense of sight, the mental faculty sense of sight. On an ethereal view, the solar plexus would be our gut energy. And from an astral view, the solar plexus would be our conscious mind's energy. You follow what I'm saying? So me personally, I would consider Ogun to be more so up there. Because the thing is, sure, our physical conscious minds dictate, and or as one thinketh in his heart, so shall he be, Proverbs 23:7, yes? So our minds control our actions, and or they drive our actions to be what they are currently, or our behaviors to be what they are currently. Thing is, so I moved Ogun on my list to the throat chakra, because me using my voice in a style and or format that crafts you all into a weapon is what I am ultimately good at, better than more than anything. So, in my list, Ogun sits as the throat chakra's spiritual power, not as the solar plexus chakra spiritual power. But you can see it however you want to see it, though. This is just how I have it set up. Now, like I said, the first one is what the World Online Web has set up. But then the second one, is my way. So I'm going to compare and contrast, and I'm going to close the video up after I do so. Next one, on the online list, it says Oshun is a constituent of the heart chakra. Oshun is a constituent of the heart chakra. That's what it says on the first list. And who is Oshun? One of the wives of Shango. One of Shango's magnificent, beautiful wives. I'm nothing like Shango, truly. I just talk stuff because I want to bring awareness to who and or what Shango the Thunderer is and his 3 wives. Oshun is one of the wives of Shango. What are some details about her? You'll have to look them up. Next one. I don't, not to be lazy or what have you. Gotta hurry up. Things are intervening. It's good that I'm speaking past 25 minutes, but we'll see what happens. Next one is Obatala. Obatala, spelled O-B-A-T-A-L-A. O-B-A-T-A-L-A. Obatala. Who is Obatala? Now, right here, it has him listed as the throat chakra's constituent. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Right, John chapter 1, verse 1 through 5, I believe it was. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Now, in some of the stories, it says that Obatala is the creator of our physical bodies. The physical manifestation of our bodies, Obatala is the creator of them. So that means that Obatala would be the ethereal realm in itself. The entirety of the ethereal realm, Obatala would be, or the creator of the ethereal realm. According to the story here, you follow me? That's what Obatala would be. And right now, and here he's listed as the throat chakra's constituent. Now, the next one, do I honestly believe this? Not 100%, as I'm always telling you. I do have the faith that we were designed by a source in which gave us the foundation of the reality in which we have here today currently. And all of these things just label and describe in so many wow, unique ways. One story, how it did it. Moving forward, next is Orula, the third eye chakra. I have to do more research on who Orula is because the Orishas were ignorant to me as well. I was ignorant of the Orishas for quite some time. Actually, I didn't even know about them until about 4 days ago. Not to this degree that I know of them now, to the point where I'm learning the fundamentals of the Yoruba religion. I'm just studying the fundamentals of the Yoruba religion right now. And next, the crown chakra is Ori. What does Ori mean? Ori means head. That's what Ori means, head. That's why it has it listed here as the crown chakra. Now watch this. Ori and Obatala are the exact same thing. In other words, all of these Orishas, these 7 major Orishas right here, I want to call them, or in my opinion, they're 9. The 7 to 9 major Orishas right here, they all have different names. They all have the same task, or they all do the same thing like an angel does, but they have different names and different ways to spell their names. Like, for example, Oshun's name is also spelled with an O-C-H-U-N. And/or it's just an O-S-H-U-N. Oshun is an extremely beautiful woman. I've seen the stories. Now, I want to explain a little bit of my hierarchy and the way I have it set up here. Then I'm going to close out the video. So my hierarchy setup of the 7 to 9 African powers and the 7 to 9 chakra gates, meaning a combination of hierarchies, or a hierarchy combo, hierarchy fusion. You follow what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting ready to tell you about next. So, the first one I have listed here, in my order, the Soul Star Chakra, with a Lodamare first. Why do I pick a Lodamare first for this here list? Because I have a sense and or belief that our abilities to function come from this here Soul Star Chakra, meaning it's the creator of it's the source of all life, the life force source. And the life force source is a gentle feeling of fondness and likeness for us, humanity, all of we, in which it decorates itself within. You follow what I'm saying? Olodumare is the creator of the universe itself, according to Yoruba religion. It's the God of the universe, meaning the God of gods, meaning like it's Brahma, or it's similar to a tomb in Egypt. If you ever did some research on a tomb, or what a tomb really is, A-T-U-M, A-T-U-M. A tomb is known as the father of gods in Egypt. A tomb is known as the father of gods in Egypt. And you want to know something? Olodumare and Obatala is also known as the father of the Orishas in the Yoruba Nigerian religion, the country where Enivia is from. And next, the crown chakra. I got Obatala Ori there. Obatala Ori. So in the crown chakra, I got them both combined. I got Obatala Ori here as a crown chakra's constituent. So in my opinion, Olodumare and Obatala are the same thing. Olodumare, Obatala, and Ori are the same thing. They're not when you look at the story. They're not the same beings at all when you look at the story. Olodumare and Obatala are different. Obatala and Ori are the same, but Olodumare it seems like he's a higher thing, or it is a higher grade. And it also talks about how there is no religion in the works of Olodumare, but when you gaze upon it, it looks like a man. It just looks like what it is according to the stories. You follow me? But it's just the creator and ruler of the universe. And then the third eye, I have Shango the Thunderer. Lightning. What is light? A natural agent that stimulates sight and makes things visible. Like when the sun gets into the spirit or gets into the air, that the spirit is thereof, or the ethereal that the spirit is thereof. It makes everything visible inside of it. Just imagine if you could be able to see inside of your own mind, or to and throughout your own mind. You'd be able to see everything in your reality, wouldn't you? The world around you. Moving forward. Next, I have the throat chakra for Ogun. Is Ogun a war god or something? According to the stories, or maybe I'm just not looking at them well enough, I look forward to doing more research on the Orishas here. I'm going to do a lot more research on the Orishas. I really am. I'm about to dive deep into this. I have my hierarchical setup of Ogun as a throat chakra. They have their hierarchical setup of Ogun as a solar plexus chakra. I'm going to keep it at the throat chakra, but I'm also going to give you awareness of the solar plexus chakra and why he's there. It says Ogun is almost like a war god in a sense, like a blacksmith, you see. That's what it says. That's what it talks about Ogun. So I am using my voice to rip apart every foul negative principality plaguing thy mind and heart space currently, so that these 9 Orishas and all of the constituents and powers that come with them can become the one thing in which they are again, and move to and throughout you all to establish in its reality. If that makes sense to you. So moving forward, I have Orula. So in other words, before I move on from the throat chakra's constituent, I'm getting ready to beat you the F up in spirit, and then beat the literal hell out of you, out of your souls. I'm going to say that again. I'm getting ready to beat the literal F up. I'm getting ready to beat you the literal F up in spirit, meaning bring your son to the spiritual sky and leave it there. And it's going to in turn beat the literal hell off of thy soul grounds. And if I beat the literal hell off of thy soul grounds, that means I'm essentially beating your soul grounds, beating the hell out of your soul grounds out of you. Beating the hell out of your soul grounds, beating the hell out of your soul grounds. This is what these words are going to ultimately do. Beat the hell out of your soul grounds and beat the hell off of your soul grounds. That's what I'm ultimately trying to say. That's what all these games and these sagas and these home sagas and these universe sagas are going to tell you about. Or these world sagas and these universe sagas. That's what they're going to tell you. How to get beat the F up in spirit, or how to beat someone the F up in spirit. BKA. On site enlightenment. On site enlightenment. Ultimately, that's what this setup is going to do. That's what this righteous rage setup is trying to do here. To bring on site enlightenment to the world. However, people ain't trying to hear this. So I'm just crafting it in a way to where you all can grasp it, take it out in the streets, and make them. I see what Donald Trump is going for. Donald Trump is trying to unite the entire world, or at least the economic side of the world, through his tariff ideas, through his tariff strategy. You can do whatever you want. Me personally, I'm going to go after the root of the problem, which is your character and your behavior. The only way this works is if you all help him. You're not, though, because you want the chaos. Meaning the recessive people. If you help Donald Trump establish his tariff ideas, meaning what he's actually trying to do with them, Donald Trump is like white supremacy's boy who cried wolf story. That's what Donald Trump is like. He's like the boy who cried wolf story. That's what he is for the entire white supremacist body. Remember, y'all fed us lies and lies and lies and lies for so long. Then you finally realize, holy stuff, there's actually a wolf coming. Now all of a sudden you want to come with the tariff strategies and whatnot to try to unite all the countries. Or at least try to give us more jobs and whatnot that'll give us a better life. It's not going to work. You'll see why later on. Why won't it work? Because the people on this planet are not going to allow it to. Unless you come with a righteous rage to the point where they would have no other option but to live the correct way eventually. Just a step, man. Just some kind of idea to help us get there, maybe a little faster. So next, heart chakra, Orula. I have to do more research on Orula. And then I have the solar plexus chakra listed as Oshun. Why do I have Oshun's sight and or vision listed as the solar plexus chakra constituent? I have to do more research on the actual Oshun here, though. And then the sacral chakra. I'm not going to butcher it then. The sacral chakra is Yamea. The sacral chakra's element is water. That's also another reason why I had mixed those two together. And then finally, Elegua. Elegua, or E-L-E-G-U-A. Elegua. In the stories about Elegua, it says that he's a gatekeeper. Now, I also want you to notice this too. And then the Earth Star chakra is Oya, one of my other wives, Oya. Now, notice something real quick. On my list, I have Elegua mentioned, but on the previous list, Elegua is not. Why is that? Elegua is one of the original 7 African powers. Here's the 7 African powers right here. It's Obatala, Ori, Shango, Ogun, Orula, Oshun, Yemea, and Elegua. Those are the original 7 African powers right there. Elegua, Yemea, Oshun, Orula, Ogun, Shango, Obatala. I believe I said it too much. Because I know Ori was on the top here. Here we go right here. Shango, Yemea, Ogun, Oshun, Obatala, Orula, and Elegua. There is no Ori listed on the 7 African powers on the when you look on the information online. The, Ori is not a part on the list of the 7 major African powers, but Elegua is. So in other words, Ori and Elegua, they take the places of each other when you look on the original stature of this African 7 powers. But when you look at the information of how it's connected to, how the 7 major African powers are connected to, and what is power? Power is the ability to do something or act in a particular way. When you look at the original information on the 7 African powers, you'll notice that Elegua is in the place of Ori. You follow what I'm saying? But all the other 6 are mentioned. The other 6 are mentioned. It's just Ori there. Ori's a new addition. And replacing Elegua, the gatekeeper. I have Elegua at the root chakra instead of Shango. And there you have it. I'm going to weaponize that information there so that love can conquer hatred. All of those entities I just read off to you are of pure love, or at least their cosmic forms are. Pure love and pure care for every single individual species that quote-unquote worships them. Do I have a problem with things being worshipped? Absolutely. I ain't for it. I ain't with it. I have a belief in these superhuman power or powers, but I'm not about to worship anything. You want to know what I'm about to do? Let it be what it is so I can be what I am, and let it also move to and throughout me to help me be what I am. If that makes sense to you. What's going to be, or where am I going to place this here 7 to 9 African powers and 7 to 9 chakra, major chakra hierarchies combination. Where am I going to play them the most? I'm going to play them the most in Afro-Yahusha, or in the Afro-Yahusha World Saga. And I'm also going to play them in the Afro-Yahusha Universe Saga. And the reason why is because I want to bring you all very vigorously to an idea of one Orisha and or one angel and or one spiritual being in which we all have inside of we, and that is driving us to be who we are truly, other than the world that we are in, or the government of the world that we are in, if that makes sense to you. The sooner this actual you gets in the driver's seat and begins to operate its natural brain, no more darkness, no more wars, no more hatred, no more poisonous food, no more poisonous air, no more fake thunderstorms. Always remember, it's just the people that is driving this world to be what it is due to the ideas getting into the people to drive them. So these ideas being lodged into your psyches, whether you want them to be lodged into your psyches or not, and then using all of the ambition in the world to just keep on driving you and dragging you through the game so that you can rise higher up in the spirit. And the higher you go up in the spirit, the more you become aware of this actual you. This actual you jumps in you and drives you to do the better you. Drives you to be the better you. Long story short. So, once again, these games, this information that I just studied, is essentially going to trap you into a situation of being right and right only. I'm going to seem so angry as I'm attacking your psyches and eliminating that fake you inside of you. And this here layout that I just told you about is the field and the horizon of information and or the foundation of knowledge in which I am going to be drawing from to do so. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This video is titled the R&R Layout. That's what it's going to be called. And R&R stands for Righteous Rage. Righteous Rage. I'm not really letting you see how it looks yet. I'm just going to let it be known for the time being. Because if you all decide to use this concept, the only thing you're about is using everything that we have against us. If you try to use this concept against my people, you're going to regret it. You better use it for us and not against. But I know who you are. I know how you are. So no matter what happens, you're going to try to use all of my words against my people. And due to my people knowing what this is, if you try to use it against them, they're going to be able to see through it and stop you. For example, Shango the Thunderer is melanated, a fully melanated god. And you tried to paint him white. Stop lying on my kind. You won't. So something has to stop you. How can it stop you? Well, I see multiple ways in which you can be stopped. I'm just going to try this one for right now. Praying unto the melanated people only. Peace, love, unity, and advancement to you all, my family.